Beautiful humans, hello, ya أجمل ما خلق ربي سلامات. I am back again with another video this week into the series that I'm lovingly calling Finding Joy in Walking the Dark. But before I continue, if you don't know who I am, my name is Ruba The Heart-Mender and I'm a shadow work and path to self facilitator. The last video was a very brief introduction into shadow work that I would want to continue on and elaborate a lot more on in the coming videos. And also in the last video, I gave a very brief mention of the self, the conscious self or the visible self, the middle self, and the unconscious self, which is the ultimate destination for anybody who is going through the awakening and who is going through a spiritual, overall of life. In the religious construct, the self has been portrayed in a very negative light. It has been associated with evils, with devils, with bad, with sin, and we are being told at every angle, conquer thyself, control thyself, oppress thyself. The urges, what you think, how you act has been framed in a way, and we are being told to stick into that frame, otherwise we will be dubbed bad, evil people. In the Holy Scripture, the beautiful Holy Scripture of Quran, I speak, and this is my background, the self and nafs has been portrayed beautifully, and it has been divided into three parts: النفس المطمئنة، النفس اللوامة، والنفس الأمارة بالسوء. Roughly translated into the calm self, the berating self, and the sinning self. And the way I came to understand the self from that context is very interesting. So keep up with me. النفس المطمئنة, or the calm self, is the ultimate goal, the ascended self, if you may. The self that is not fazed by what is happening, why things are happening. النفس المطمئنة, or the calm self, the ascended self, has accepted what is, worked and still works with what is, to create a life of ease in spite of the chaos that's happening around it. And this is the ultimate goal for anybody who's going through a spiritual awakening or who's walking the spiritual path into healing and into finding the self, whether you're going through it via traditional methods, talk therapy, psychologist, psychiatrist, or you're going through it via a lot more conventional pathways, like I did. But for today's sake, we're going to talk about النفس اللوامة, the parating self, or the berating self, which is, in my opinion, the most important. For it is the visible self. It is the self that you put out into the world. It is the self that you present as. The way you dress to impress, the way you talk to sound a lot more knowing, the way you behave in public so people do not speak ill of you. And it is the self that when you look in the mirror answers you back, "Oh, you dumbass. No matter how much makeup you put, you're still ugly. Oh, they hate you. They're just laughing in your face, and behind you they're laughing at you." And nafs al-lawama, the berating self, is what fuels the second self, and nafs al-ammara bisu, or the sinning self, the self that goes out seeking the ease from that noise of nafs al-lawama. Now you could call also ego. It is the self that seeks the release from it, from self-judgment, from self-questioning, and from all those things that you put on yourself. It seeks out comforts in drugs, in women, in drink, in late night, at the club, in binge eating, you name it. Every addiction is fueled by yourself, who is trying to ease the pain from the berating self that still exists in you. Figuring out those things that you do while you are in the berating self model will tell you what are your shortcomings, what are you running away from, what are you trying to ease. For you see, our addictions, or the things that we seek out to ease the pain of the negative self, of the ego, nafs al-lawama, says a lot about our nature. Coming last, and nafs al-mutma'inna. And one can only get from one to the other is walking through that shadow. And nafs al-ammara bisu. You need to love it. Love it, love it, love it. You need to accept it, accept it, accept it, accept it. You're an addict? Yes, I am an addict. I accept that. You're a fornicator? Yes. I seek comfort in women. I seek comfort in men. Absolutely, yes. Accept that. For once you accept that about yourself, you realize that there's a problem with that. Once you accept what is, you will find a way out to what you want. Once you accept that you are stuck, you realize that there are ways to dig yourself out. Most of us in this world, and it was told to me, it was said to me by one of my incredible mentors and teachers, Lisa Lee, we're a world of addicts, each and every single one of us, whether it's a phone or everything I just mentioned before. We all have to do is accept it. For when it sinks in, you will feel the toll of it. And once you feel the toll of it, you will understand how heavy that toll is. And once you understand how heavy the toll of yourself on yourself is, you will find a way for yourself out. And it's not a cookie cutter. It's not a formula that I can actually give you and tell you, do this, follow these steps, and you are going to get the release and the relief that you want. It is something that you have to walk and figure out on your own. This is what I did. I had absolutely no help getting me out of my addictions and my fears. My nafs al-lawama, my berating self, had consumed me. It kept me shackled for decades, listening to that voice in my head telling me how worthless I am. I tried to find release in substance, shopping, parties, friends that weren't friends at all. And the toll of that kept sinking me deeper and deeper into rock bottom until I realized what myself was doing to myself. But you know what happens when you hit rock bottom, right? You kick and you bounce right up. And that path of bouncing right up into nafs al-mutma'inna, the calm self, the ascended self, where I sit, not perfect, oh gosh, no. Perfection does not exist. It's a path. It goes up and down. And nafs al-mutma'inna. Doesn't that sound nice? I think it does. So tell me, do you want to know more about yourself? If you have any questions or if you have any comments, don't forget to leave them down below. Leave me a like, and if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, go up, subscribe. A lot more of this to come. Until next time, beautiful people. Fi amanillah.